Hi there, this is Charlie Jackson with Safeguard Mortgage Group. One of the major things people are researching now today is can they afford to buy a home? And one of the biggest concerns is that affordability. And what that may involve is more than just the interest rate or the purchase price. So I'll go over a few things. You're going to need to consider your down payment. Of course, we all pretty much know that. But then there's certain closing costs involved as well, whether it's the appraisal, title work, government fees, those fees, if you will, along with prepaid expenses. And that's to get your escrow started ahead of time, which includes your homeowner's insurance and your property taxes. Could be others, but those are the two primary ones. And along with that, many buyers don't understand or realize that they may not need 20% down. Everybody thinks you got to have a big chunk of money. While that's nice to have, that's not always the case. For example, veterans may be able to qualify for 0% down for VA financing. Certain conventional programs, particularly if you're a first time home buyer, and all first time home buyer really means is that you haven't owned a home or a residential property, if you will, in the last 3 years. So you could have owned a home before, but then for whatever reason, you rented for the last 3 years, whatever, just mom and went back to mom and dad, whatever the case might be, and now you're going to buy a home again. You would qualify as a first time home buyer. Okay. And then along with that, unfortunately, if you, well, I was going to say what that is, you only need 3% down in that case. If you have some kind of credit issues and dings and whatever, then you might go look at FHA because they have a little bit more leniency, if you will, if you got some dings on your credit, and they only require 3.5% down in most cases. Okay. Another option is we can explore down payment assistance programs. And while those are really great and they're great for the right reasons and the right people, but they are subject to income limits and eligibility requirements and the availability of those bond funds, if you will. Some loan programs may also allow gift funds from eligible sources: mom, dad, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, those sorts of people, if you will. Whereas they may want to give you a nice Christmas gift. Don't we wish that would happen every Christmas? But, anyways, those are available to where they can be used towards the down payment and or closing costs, right? The thing about the gift is there can't be a situation where you need to pay it back. Okay. Homeowners insurance is another important part of your total monthly payment. And I work with many insurance brokers, and they're insurance brokers, not to knock the big boys, whatever, but being an insurance broker is like me being a mortgage broker. I have hundreds of different lenders I can go to. Same thing with the insurance broker. They can go to hundreds, if you will, different carriers to shop, not just for the best rate, but the best rate with the best coverage for your particular situation, where you live, and what your lifestyle is, etc. If you live on a canal and you have a boat, that's going to be different than if you live on an inland type property, right? So, anyways, they'll shop the appropriate carriers and help find the coverage and pricing tailored to your particular homes and needs. The goal is to understand the complete financial picture before you begin making offers, not just whether you qualify, but whether the payment and upfront costs can fit comfortably into your budget, right? And they call it a payment. Honestly, guys, my opinion is it's a deposit because that's what you're really doing. You're making a deposit into an asset for the most part that is growing, and even nationally right now, it's still about 3.5% nationally. And I think the last report, though, however, last month came down to 1.5%. But still, it's still growing. So you're making a deposit in the asset where you're paying off your mortgage. Okay, so I don't really like to look at it as a payment, even though that's what they would call it. Okay, whatever. Not going to get into it's like a political thing. So, but if you're considering buying a home, let's have a conversation and review the options that may be available to you. No pressure, no obligation, just simple, honest answers, being transparent and upfront. Again, Charlie Jackson with Safeguard Mortgage Group. Remember, confidence starts with clarity, and I'm here to help you make a confident, informed decision about your next home. Have a great day. Thanks for watching, and God bless.